Hi, welcome. It's time for my town hall for today and campaign update. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, and I am a presidential candidate for the 2024 election. I have not conceded the election because there is a lot of fraud and manipulation in the system, and not all the votes got counted. So I am still a candidate, and we need all the counts voted, but truthfully, what we need is a new election system. And that's what I am trying to bring. I have a lawsuit pending with the Supreme Court to exactly um, change the system because we have a lot of illegal people in office, and it's due to this thing called registering to vote. It's a list that you are on in each state. It's run and controlled by the election division and the Secretary of State in every state. And there's no checks and balances on it. Now, 3 years ago, back in 22, my own Secretary of State in West Virginia came out and said there were 380,000 wrong names on the list just in West Virginia alone. And then last year, during the election process, sometime around now or maybe a month, it's almost been a year, Texas came forward and declared they had over 1 million names wrong on their voter registration list, and those people have been voting, some of them have been voting for as long as 1990s. So this is a unchecked list, and all sorts of fake names are on it, got on it, who knows how, misspellings and students and wrong names, or people being recorded as being citizens when they weren't. And, it's just unacceptable. So also last year, 24 other states came forward and said that they had fake names also on their list. So how can we go forward with a election and consider it legal when we're using the same list? And not to mention the fact that back in 2020, after the election, Trump was going around saying how there was so much fraud and manipulation in the election system. And then he got elected in 2024, and now we don't hear about the fraud anymore. So, I guess it's okay for him if he gets into office with fraud. But, when he's in, it's okay. He's not going to say anything, is basically what he's talking about. So that's also not a good sign about Trump. I had higher hopes for him. But anyway, he currently is supposedly in office, right? And however, we know that certainly my vote was not counted. I'm a U.S. citizen. There's no reason for my vote not to be counted. I showed up. I had my passport and my driver's license. I could show I'm a citizen, and I could show that I am living where I'm living. And they decided to throw my vote out. I voted, spent an hour there, and at the end when I called to find out, because I had to do this provisional ballot because I wasn't registered, they said that because I wasn't registered, I didn't want to vote. So even though I was there for an hour and I filled out all their paperwork and did everything, apparently they're now declaring that I didn't want to vote. So, folks, this is BS, and it's unconstitutional. And these people need to be arrested. It's against the law what they did. And we need to have the Supreme Court rule on my lawsuit, because it's really time. The U.S. people need a country, a government that they can trust. And they cannot trust this current one. It's not listening to the people anymore. Yeah. So, I mean, I will say that I am okay with some of the things that Donald Trump is doing, and Elon Musk was doing, and Kennedy is doing. We have people finding fraud in the system, and we cannot be giving out money to other places when our own country needs the money here. We cannot be so much in debt and then go deeper in debt by giving money to other countries and then not having more cash on hand for ourselves. So, what Elon was doing is great. I don't know if his team is still doing that, but I don't think the search is over. We got the Pentagon to go through, but the problem there is we just need to cut spending on war. No more money for war. We need to focus on domestic issues and especially general welfare. The general welfare in our country, in the vast majority of the country, is really poor. And right now, we got roads that are a mess. We got, flooding and hurricanes and, well, okay, not hurricanes, but flooding and tornadoes and storms. And then we got potholes and roads being washed away. So, first off, something I discovered is evergreens seem to help when their pine needles fall. They somehow help to hold the earth in place. So plant evergreens, and especially the ones that lose their needles eventually. Those are great for around highways and roads, especially roads that are very slippery and clay oriented. They're great. Part of the problem is that the salt that we're using, when it mixes with mud, it becomes very slippery, and then it just washes away. So somehow the evergreens, and especially the redwoods, I'm going to say, in California, they soak up the salt. They seem to like it. And so, they're good also to plant around roads and highways and places that are being washed away, cliff sides, retaining walls, and things of that nature, because they will help to hold everything in place. So it's time to plant some trees and to take care of our roads and our general welfare. So, I live near Morgantown, West Virginia, and in the town itself, the sidewalks are so wobbly and so they're just not put together well. I don't know if they ever were. I'm going to assume once they were, but now they're not, and no one's done anything about it. So if I were like a blind person trying to get around, it's just impossible, because the sidewalks are a nightmare. They're so uneven and cracked, and they've got gaps, and they've got potholes of their own, So, and I know that other cities are like mine. So instead of spending money on wars that we don't need and don't know anything about, we need to focus on our people, because we know about them and we know that they need help. We know that we need good roads and good sidewalks. And things should be accessible to all, not just the few. And yeah, it's just time. I don't know when things got so bad, and I'm not at all sure how long it's been like this. So we need to do something about it, and we need to do it now. So my recommendation is to move some of the defense money back home and use it here and employ some of our people to rebuild their roads and their towns and roads and sidewalks and whatnot, so that people can use them safely. And this is just one of my programs, but we certainly don't need a defense budget the size that we have. It's time to let other countries take care of their own defense, and we take care of our own here. So, what can I say? I said, my vote was not counted, but I pay taxes every day. And the thing is that our whole country was formed on that concept that taxation without representation is not acceptable. That's what the U.S. was started for. We broke away from England because of that reason. So now, here we are, being taxed, and votes are being thrown out, or illegal people are voting, or fake people. Sometimes people are voting 2 or 3 times. Sometimes they're voting in more than one state. I mean, cheating is also not allowed. So this is all like grounds for revolution. Yes, I said it. It's what our forefathers did. So, Supreme Court, you have my documents. You know what you need to do. We can no longer hold our head high as a country, knowing the amount of corruption that's in the system, and keep going forward. So I call on you to act on my lawsuit. I just checked. I still don't have it back from you. Haven't heard anything. It's time. And as I've been reading slowly the Constitution to children and anyone else who wants to listen on Saturday mornings, the Constitution is really, it's never been updated. I mean, we have amendments, yes, but the structure of it and the way things work and everything, and okay, some of the amendments do address those issues, but for the most part, we really need to relook at it and bring it into modern day English, because half the stuff you don't even understand, and it has to be somehow translated to you, and you know what? The translations are not always so great. So it's time to rethink our government, especially in the form of the Constitution. And we also need to work on some of our other documents and create some treaties between countries and places. Yeah. So I think I'm not alone in this. I think there are other people who have similar ideas to mine. And I think we're all working towards the same goal, getting rid of the corruption in the government, in the Democrats and the Republicans. And that's what we're moving towards right now. So, I don't really have much to say. An update is that I'm in Europe right now. I'm in Switzerland mostly. And I'm trying to let people here know that my vote wasn't counted, and yet I'm paying taxes and my vote wasn't counted, and I have a lawsuit pending, so I'm still working on it. And not only my vote, but other votes too. There are lots of other people out there whose votes were not counted. And so this is where we are. And that's what I'm letting Europe know, Switzerland know, and we cannot go on this way. A lot of other countries look to our country for leadership, look to our country for honesty and for integrity. And we pretend to have it, but we don't have it. And that's the sad part. And so a lot of countries, other countries, are being led astray by liars and cheaters who are in office. And so we really need to get our act together and be the country we want to be. And I don't think we really want to keep all this fraud and corruption in the system. At least I don't. So, yeah. Sadly, I'm just me, and I do have a lawsuit pending. And if it doesn't happen, I will have a whole bunch of other lawsuits to do too. Right now I'm in Switzerland taking care of some business that I need to take care of here, and then soon I'll be back in the US where I can do some more for you and me and our country. Yeah. So I this is, I'm not really rehashing anything new. You've heard a lot of this from me before. I wish I had some sort of news, but I don't. So this is all I have for today. You got my campaign update. No one's here asking questions. So I guess that should do it for now, which is okay. I've had a busy day and I'm still recovering from that car accident I was in. So, it's not the worst thing to leave this short and just leave it as is. All right. So, anyways, thank you for stopping by. And I am taking care of a little bit of stuff myself for me that I need to, and then I'll be back working for all of us again as soon as possible. Okay. I appreciate you stopping by. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to my website. It's susan4usa.com. That's Susan, the number 4, USA.com. And if you want to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get my videos when they first come out, of course you can do that. And that's about it. I hope, I think on the weekend I'll probably have some more news, maybe have a little more information about some things. Yeah, I'm going to be talking to on Friday at the UN in Geneva, just in like a protest area, about, the fact that the UN made a really bad decision back in 1947. They pretended like they were very pro-peace, and in fact, most of our wars are because of what they did then when they turned Palestine into Israel without the approval from other nations that needed to actually approve it. They just stole the land and handed it to somebody else. Now, it was a new organization. I don't know where they felt they had the right to do that. We had this League of Nations that was doing its thing, and suddenly that one disappeared, and then the United Nations existed. And I think there might be some foul play. Maybe the Christian church was behind it because they wanted, to bring the second coming of Christ. So anyways, ever since Israel was declared a nation, the way it is, or the way it was in 1947, has been the major cause of all or most of the wars, at least in that region and in several other places, since the UN decided to do that. So they claim that they're for peace, and Friday is supposed to be the official International Day of Living Together in Peace. And all I can say is we don't have peace in the Middle East. We don't have peace in Europe. And so where is this living together in peace stuff coming from, you know? And then if you had not done what you did in 1947, we'd probably have been living already in peace. So the UN, you need to look at yourself and figure out what you need to do. I hold you accountable. I hold Truman accountable also. President Truman in the US, he helped to move things in this direction. So shame on you both, actually, for what you did. And then living together in peace. You know, I'm a woman. I want to live together in peace. I'm tired of not living together in peace. I don't get it. I don't get many things regarding wars and hate and all of this sort of stuff. But what I can really say is living together in peace can also be between men and women. And I don't really know why we can't seem to get there, except for the fact that religion seems to say it's okay to abuse women. And so, ladies, I call on you to leave your religion, especially if it's an abusive one. And like I said, most religions out there are abusive to women. They make you subservient to your man, and it's not healthy. Women cannot progress as long as they are in these oppressive religions. So I'm working on that as far as giving women the power that they need to have to not be abused. And it's just one of my platform pieces, you know, to pay mothers a proper salary, because it's a career choice to be a mother. But anyways, now I'm just babbling. But Friday is the supposed International Day of Living Together in Peace. And, you know, when I look up how many women have been killed, or girls, and even boys too, you know, these things are not necessary. We're doing something wrong. And so we as a species need to look at ourselves too. You know, I don't think a lot of other species go around killing each other. But anyways. So again, sorry, I went over now. Thanks for listening to my babble. And I wish you a good day wherever you are.